Original Chronixx from Spanish Town, Jamaica. And this is my first time, and the first time, big respect to Rolling Stones. Yes. The first time I wrote a song, I was like too young to write. You know what I mean? I was definitely too young to write, so it was all in my head. I think that's how I started like making most of my music in my head to this day. Like, we didn't play a lot of instruments, but we would turn stuff in the house into instruments, and we would put on the records and the cassettes and the CDs that were there. That was our everyday life, music. First time I performed on stage, it wasn't a stage. In Jamaica, they have crazy things called crusades, where the churches, they go into the ghetto area, and they try to baptize as much people as possible. And I couldn't be any older than 8 years old. You know, like my brother decided he was our manager, and we went there and, you know, we dress up and sing. Yeah, and it was fun. The first time I went by Chronixx now. Well, my father's name is Chronixx. So one time when I just started high school, I was like being disruptive in the math class. And my teacher was like, come to the front of the class. And I went up to the front of the class, and she was like just asking me really embarrassing questions like, why are you making noise in my class? What's your mother's name? And I tell her, and she was like, what's your father's name? What does your parents do? And I was like, my father is a singer. You know, and she was like, what's his name? I was like, Chronixx. And from there I got the name Chronixx. So they called me Chronixx first, but I didn't like the Chronixx. It was too Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? So I like added 2 X, and Chronixx it was. First time I heard my music on the radio, man, where was I? I think I was at home. It was Yardcore. He was playing on a radio station called Best FM in Jamaica. I gave him the song, so I was just listening to him all the time to see if he would play it, and he did play that shit. That was the end. Like, from I heard that on the radio and heard how it sounded on the radio, I was like, this is it now, man. Like, you know what I mean? First time I played in front of a huge crowd was in Africa. And they invited me to a concert around the elections, because at the time there was like a lot of violence around the elections in Kenya. I went there as a peace ambassador, yo, and it was like thousands of people, and I was like, yo. Every time I imagine thousands of people, I was always imagining like a mixed crowd with like all different types of people, like maybe like a European audience. This was a crowd of thousands of East African people, so it was just all people like me. Experiencing that at that stage of my journey really shifted my consciousness as an artist, you know, and kind of helped me to realize what my purpose as an artist is. Like my priority had to be this crowd. So I was engineering at this studio called King of Kings, and I think they gave the rhythm to Lutan Fire. He's an artist from Spanish Town, where I come from. I don't know, he probably left it on the desktop on the computer, and I was just like intruding on people's beats. You know what I mean? And I heard that one beat and I liked it, so you know, I started making up a song in my mind and making up a song, you know, and years later, maybe 2 or 3 years later, a group of producers came from Germany to work with Marcia Griffiths and all these people. So I met with them, and they were playing me all the music that they were working on and stuff that they think I could contribute to, you know what I mean? He was playing from like a MP3 player or iPod or something. And I took the iPod and just started browsing for myself. And there was the rhythm in his iPod. The same one from the computer was on his iPod, and I was like, yo. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. The first time I met Protege, that was like going to meet a great king or something. Like, for me at the time, I was like 17. Then Protege was like the biggest thing. So like when we finally connected and he sent us his address to come and check him at his house. I was like, yo. So I went up there and he was there, just this cool, normal human being, you know what I mean? And that kind of shifted my idea of what an artist should be like. And he was the one who heard Behind Curtain and was like, yo, this is the song. Like, make sure this is the song people hear first.